Well, my first go of this was it would help if my mic was on. My first go of this, I actually screwed it up. Something fierce. Hey, it's what happens when you're new to this and you make mistakes. But let's go live and do something. This was, something a little bit briefer, just more to the point than what I did, and let's go over it again. So, let's kick this off and let's try to do this without the mistake, so to speak. Welcome back, and yes, I am shocked that I did what I did. Though this is only my third live stream, so there was a mistake bound to happen eventually. Unfortunately, this one bit me in the ass, proverbially. So let's get back to what I was trying to say in the other video that I've now removed, because it wasn't a good product and I don't want to give a bad product out to anyone. So to keep a 30-minute live stream down to something a little more manageable with less slow in it, because I was trying to answer questions coming from someone that ended up having to reboot and I was waiting for them. And that's not fair to you guys watching after the fact. So when I craft my goggles, I use, first off, I buy myself a pair of low profile goggles. So they cover my eyes and that's about it. Good evening, Gage. This is take 2 of this, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm sorry for the other thing. Yes, without the weird voices. I agree with you for Toledo. I was in a rush, and I made a mistake. So, hey, this stuff happens. Back to what I was saying. So I use low-profile goggles, so basically goggles that cover just my eyes. And for my daytime masks, I tend to add a mesh decal on it to cut the glare on the goggles. The fabric you see on this is KMCS fabric, a mesh fabric, so that's the same stuff that he uses on his ghillie suits, on his balaclava. It comes in all of his crafting packs. It is a wonderful mesh. The colors are amazing. That's why I like to use it. I like to use, on my goggles specifically, I love using raffia, which is this grassy like stuff. Now I have 2 shades of it. I have this nice brown, which is great for this time of year in the winter and early spring, and I have a green shade, which you can see right there on my summertime goggles. I also use moss. So let me see, can I get a good view of this without it? So let me just pull some out. It'll be easier. Yep, just standard moss. Picked it up on Amazon for, I want to say it was 20 bucks for a pack that's now crafted 3 pairs of goggles and done the crafting on, well, what I just did on my other pair, on my goggles that I had to repair. I also like to use Shugu. Stuff's messy, but it holds great and it's waterproof, and I use it on just about everything that I do. So with my goggles, what I always am trying to do, I'm trying to keep them as natural as possible. This is what I literally just finished with the weird voices. uh, I deserve everything that I get for that. So really what I'm doing is I'm trying to make these look natural so that when you're looking at it in the daytime, you're not seeing a person, you're just seeing um, another plant or just an extension of the ground, so to speak, when while I'm sitting in hide. Um, Now, to craft this, I always keep a couple of rags with me, so just something to clean my hands with. The shoe goes messy. Um, I can do a little bit just to show. I'm sure I can find some place to stick a little bit more moss on this and it won't hurt it. Um, with the shoe goo, it takes only a few minutes for it to set, but it takes closer to 24 hours for it to fully bond. Once it's fully bonded, it is almost indestructible. It's waterproof. It is great for just about any process you need. I've used it on my masks. I've used it attaching some mesh to my snipers. Used it for just about everything. So you just take a little bit, get it on your finger. Don't be afraid to get dirty with this stuff. So a little bit, and let me find a place here. Just go right down over here. Just going to spread it across the mesh. The other great thing about using it on this mesh is that this stuff will actually bond into the mesh, so it actually makes it really hold really well. And we're just going to take a little bit of the moss and press it into the glue. Just like this. Now in about 5 minutes that'll set. And once it's fully dried, I will go through and I'll clean up some of these edges so that I don't have anything in my line of vision. Obviously, for a daytime mask, having that ooh, ouch. That's it's a good thing. Yeah. You learned a lesson, didn't you, Gage? So once it fully bonds, that I will clean it up. But I also learned after my first night game that having that decal on the lens just isn't going to cut it. I use a lit scope when I play at night, and all I was getting was reflection of the mask in my scope. So I switched over to a clearer lens for when I play at night. This way I can see through my scope, and there's not an issue. Also, what I use in my crafting, which you can't really see on this well, I like to use the KMCS leaf strips. So what you can see actually shoe gooed right onto my scope cam. One, the colors are great. They look like real leaves, and they create an added effect. So when I'm crafting, I'm not only looking for a 2D effect, I'm trying to make it 3D and keep it as natural as possible. It's tough. I like to see symmetry in everything, but symmetry in nature is not what you're looking for. So I tend to have to shoot myself in the foot and stop looking for perfection and start looking for imperfection when I'm crafting my ghillies. The other thing is that I have another set of goggles that I use for the specifically for the summertime. So these are my summertime goggles. Again, you can see I've shoe glued on the mesh. I've added the green raffia to it. I've added moss in places. But what I added on this differently is I added the adaptive ghillie mesh that Kicking Mustang put out to create a lot of green in this. This way, during the green months, you know, basically all summer, and anyone that's been to Zulu in the summer, Zulu 24 in the summer, knows how green it gets there. And I found out the hard way that wearing brown in that is just not going to work, and I at that point decided to start making a green kit for that specifically. So I do use that on my mask. In order to attach this gorgeous stuff called that I was speaking about, this grass-like stuff. For my goggles, I don't do anything major with it. It's literally, I'm going to make a loop with it, feed it through the mesh, and very gently just pull it through and tie it off, just like that. That's all it takes. It'll hold. It's held for months already. But this stuff is brittle. It breaks easy. It's basically dried grass. It's what it is and what it does. Now, in order to make it easier, I actually do use a crafting needle. Basically, it looks like a long, fine-pointed awl, which I slip through the holes in the mesh just to widen the hole enough to slide the raffia through, tie it off, and call it a nice day. Now, I had shown this because this has a very good example of a different method of attaching. So you can see this is my webbing and one of my webbings and camelbacks that I use specifically fall, winter, early spring. You can see all the raffia I have attached here, but this is all attached using cable ties, and it's thick. By using the cable ties, it allows me to use thicker clumps of it so that it kind of just looks like grass growing out of the ground with a lot of leaves around it. And that's kind of how my back would look when I'm crawling around, which is quite often. Well, again, I'm sorry that the first video was screwed up. Let me open this for questions, because this is really a very simple process in crafting the goggles and making them look right. They're not a big thing. One of the biggest things that I always try to do is okay, so the MSR 303 is your mask gauge, correct? Sorry, there's a little bit of a lag between, because I'm watching this live as I'm recording it, so there's a little bit of a lag between the two. I just want to make sure that I'm answering this question. Okay, so what you can do with that is if I'm remembering this mask correctly, if you take a little bit of sandpaper to it, very fine sandpaper, you can rough up the plastic a little to affix the mesh, and don't affix the whole mesh, but affix points on the mesh so that it holds to that big plate, so you can then proceed to use the mesh to ghillie it up with the raffia, or just literally affix everything right to it. You could literally glue moss directly onto it. This is all glued, so this is glued right here to my goggles, which is just a plastic. And you can see it's pretty well on there. It's not going anywhere. For your sniper, you can do a few things. I have cable tied the mesh around it. I bought paint recently, and I just recently painted my Stair Scout. And what I'll do is I'm still haven't ghillied it yet, but I will use cable ties and cable tie mesh to it. I will glue mesh in other places, and I'll use that to affix my ghillie to. If I don't just tie it right onto certain things right onto the body of it itself. It's as I said, Shugu is a wonderful little substance. It holds, especially if you have a good bonding surface. Like I said, that's on there. It's supporting the weight of this. I wouldn't do that with the sniper rifle. It'll pull right off. But, just get the materials on it for a ghillie are very light, so you're not going to have to worry about it pulling off. It's more about having enough on there so that it holds, but not so much where you can't actually use the mesh. I hope that answered your question. Again, I don't actually have the stair up here. So any other questions? Sorry, I think I just got a text with a image of... No. I contracted someone to make patches for me recently, so I'm expecting to see a drawing mock-up of the design that I discussed with them before they go into production on it. So I thought that's what that was. So are there any other questions? You too, 508 Hunting Adventures. And again, we got to get together hopefully in the next few months to go over, and so I can teach you how to actually make the ghillie that you're looking to make. Talk to you soon. I know you want to go spend some time with your wife. Yes, less broken phones are good things. Let's not break another phone going to play airsoft. I'm, s- I know I shouldn't be laughing, but you done fucked up. Have a good night, Gage. All right, all. I hope everyone took some good information from all of this. I'm always open to answering any questions. It's how I learned. I asked a lot of questions from Kicking Mustang, um, Silly Ghillie, a lot of these long time airsoft ghillie snipers who are very, very forthcoming with their knowledge, and all I'm doing is sharing the same knowledge that I've learned. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed everything so far that I've produced. Um, I will be dropping another gameplay in a couple of weeks. Um, Probably the same weekend once I've gotten home and after I've kind of unwound a little bit from Grimnir Tactical's Operation Anthropos, or I should say Conflict Anthropos 2, which is taking place at Zulu 24, which I am extremely excited to be playing in. As always, like, subscribe, comment, hit that thumbs up, and hopefully I have been of some help and that I can continue to bring as high quality vids as possible. Um, Keep an eye out for more gameplays. I know I'm a couple months behind with where they're supposed to be at this point, but life happens, and I'm finally getting back on track to doing stuff on a more regular basis again. So, um, just in case the winter comes along and I can't get out to play, I have some extra footage there to kind of tide me over until I can get back out and playing again. But thank you all for joining me on this, and I hope to see you all next time. Take care and have a good night.